So this is MOS 07 lecture. So yesterday we were trying to understand this particular structure, and the origin of this structure is you want to contact this inversion charge electrons. Since it is electrons, here inversion charge. So when you want to contact electrons, you should contact it using N+, which has rich source of electrons. So you would connect it both sides, okay? And you apply bias so that the current flows in the inversion layer. So to understand the picture of having two contacts N+ and N+ above and below, before that we have to understand how the MOS cap changes when you have one contact N+ and it is biased. So that is the goal. So we want to understand what happens if we just connect an N+ here when inversion forms. So if you see MOS ideal, if MOS is ideal, then we say MOS device should have zero charge for zero applied voltage, gate voltage, and 5ms is 0, for QF is 0. So even but here, even if MOS is ideal, we will have a charge due to N+ junction here. Okay, so there is an N+ junction, N+ P junction. So there will be some depletion, because of the N+ P junction. And what we try to understand is the concentration. Yesterday towards the end, what we try to understand is the concentration at this edge of depletion when there is a bias VC. So we argued why VC has to be greater than 0. I have written that here today. It wasn't there in yesterday's notes, but I have written it today. So VC should always be greater than 0 to ensure reverse bias across N+ P junction. So we are applying VC to N+ and P is substrate. So this junction has to be reverse biased. So VC has to be greater than 0. Why it has to be reverse biased is because the reverse bias makes sure that only inversion layer current flows through N+. So if there exists an inversion layer and you put another N+ on top and then apply voltage, so there will be current through the inversion layer, and you want only that current to flow between the top and bottom N+ contacts. You don't want any other current to actually come, because that is what is switching action. So you control presence of inversion charge with the help of gate electrode. So if gate is greater than threshold voltage, there exists inversion charge. If it is less than threshold voltage, inversion charge doesn't exist. So it is like you don't have any electron charge. So you cannot conduct. It is like off. This device is like off. It cannot conduct, electrons. All right, because there are no electrons in between in this region. All right, so when electrons are present, you want to have only the electron current. So when electrons are not there, inversion layer is not there, you don't want to have any current. So if at all this junction is forward biased, then even in presence of electrons or absence of electrons, there will be high forward bias current between these two junctions. Then you would not understand whether the switch is on or switch is off. Okay, so in the sense, current can flow from P to N+ region, which is very large current, because if it is forward biased, then you do not know whether the switch is on, switch is off, because you cannot differentiate between the inversion charge current and the PN+ forward bias current. So this junction has to be reverse biased to keep the reverse leakage current very low and have a very large current through inversion layer. So that's why we should have VC greater than 0. So that's what I have written here. Once VC is greater than 0, then we have found that there will be depletion expansion. So it is not going to be same as equilibrium depletion width. It will extend, and the MOS equilibrium is disturbed. Now, when VC is greater than 0, earlier we saw that there is no N+ contact. So VG is there. Even if even under applied bias, we said MOS is under equilibrium. But now this N+ is there, and there is VC greater than 0. So this N+ and S substrate, they are in reverse bias, so there will be reverse leakage current. So definitely MOS is not in equilibrium, because there is a current through semiconductor. Okay, so MOS cap is not in equilibrium. And just to see what is the concentration at the edge, which we'll be using in the class today. So from the theory of PN junction, you know that N edge actually depends on the reverse bias that we apply. So this is the depletion edge, and concentration on the depletion edge is what we are interested, and we are denoting it as N edge. All right. So this is concentration at depletion edge. So you take a PN plus junction, there is a reverse bias of VC, then we have drawn the carrier profiles. So in the P side, the depletion is large because this is N plus P junction. So in the P at the depletion edge, we found that the electron concentration is exponentially varying with negative of VC. Okay, NP naught is the carrier concentration, minority carrier concentration in the P-type semiconductor. So in equilibrium, when VC is 0, N edge, at the depletion edge, N is equal to NP naught. And if you apply positive bias, N edge will be greater at the depletion edge, and that's how you will have forward bias current, diffusion of this larger number of holes, electrons into the semiconductor. And if VC is small, VC is less than 0, VC is greater than 0 here in our case, which is reverse bias. So N edge will be less than even NP naught here. Okay. So we have got this from Boltzmann relation. We have used Boltzmann relation even under non-equilibrium because we say that J is approximately 0 in the depletion region. So from the PN junction theory. So let us see now. So we defined the three regimes of operation as follows: accumulation, depletion, inversion. And as you know, on the voltage axis, how we show V less than VFB is accumulation. Between VFB to VT, it is depletion, and above VT, it is inversion. The corresponding picture of surface electron concentration at the semiconductor surface denoted by NS is what we said. At VFB, NS is equal to NP naught. Bands are flat, so NS surface concentration is same as minority carrier concentration in the bulk. But at VT, we said, which is threshold voltage, onset of inversion, we say in strong inversion. So NS is equal to PP naught. So surface electron concentration is same as hole concentration very within bulk, okay, in the neutral region of semiconductor. So that is when we say that it is like completely inverted, that a surface has become like P of neutral bulk region. So let us see what happens to NS as we apply the voltage VC, right? So three regimes of operation. As we apply VC, we have to see what happens. VG less than VFB, accumulation operation we have to see. First one is this. VG less than VFB, accumulation. So VG here is less than 0. So negative charge here, positive charge holes come here. And here it is P, and positive charge holes have come, means in a larger quantity. So this is like P plus region. So here I have showed the difference like N plus P plus. So the depletion width will be smaller here. And here P is a lesser concentration. So here the depletion width on P side is larger. So the difference is that very near to surface, the depletion width will be smaller because this is P plus. And deep inside, the actual P concentration is there. So original semiconductor doping concentration, that is small. So you have a larger depletion. So this is how the depletion edge looks like. Okay, so at the surface, depletion width between N plus P, it actually shrinks. Other than this, not much change you will observe in anything else beyond this point on top of beyond this junction. So here in this region, you don't see much change. It is as if you didn't apply VC at all. So this VC effect of VC is not seen much, beyond this point. So VFB VG between VFB and VT. So this is depletion, right? So I have written here because I have already said it, but I didn't write it in the notes. So I wrote it here. Note that the mass cap now is is no more in equilibrium. All that I have said it already in today's class. So, but just it is written here. And let us write Boltzmann relation in semiconductor along the cut line. Let us take this cut line. Okay, here in this is what I'm showing. Along this cut line, let us write Boltzmann relation in the semiconductor in the depletion region. Okay, so that's what we started with, and we got carrier concentration at the surface Ns, and that we related with the semiconductor voltage drop psi s, potential drop. So psi s is equal to Vt ln Ns by Nh. So this is valid from Boltzmann relation, and Ns surface concentration is, because here we have to understand along this cut line, Ns is the concentration at the surface, and concentration at the depletion edge is N edge, and we have derived N edge to be so and so between N plus P junction here. So N edge concentration here is where we have defined, but is it same here also along this cut line? When we draw concentration of electrons at this point, will it be same as concentration of electrons at this point? So it is going to be same. That's what I have written. The edge concentration N edge remains same throughout along the depletion edge. What is the depletion edge? So this is the depletion edge. All right. So along this depletion edge, N edge remains same. It does not vary. Okay. Why it does not vary? Because depletion edge is an equipotential line with normal electric field equal to 0. So we marked it as edge of depletion only because we said that electric field is almost goes to 0. So electric field is 0 here along this. So which means electric field is terminating on this line, okay, perpendicularly. So what it means is this is an equipotential line. If this is an equipotential line, there cannot be electric field along the depletion edge. Okay, I'm not saying electric field inside depletion edge. Don't get confused. So inside depletion edge, inside the depletion region, electric field will be horizontal here in this direction. In this way, it will be kind of vertical. But on the depletion edge, whatever be the electric field, it terminates normally on the depletion line edge, and it is 0. And it is an equipotential line. So electric field cannot be there along this line. So along this line means in this direction anywhere. So in this direction, electric field cannot be there. Okay, along this depletion edge. So if electric field cannot be there, if at all concentration gradient is there, electron concentration gradient is there along the depletion edge, then there will be current. But how can there be current along the depletion layer? What is it that is supplying current along this edge? So there is no source of current for electrons along this depletion edge. So you cannot have diffusion also. So N edge has to remain same throughout the depletion edge. Okay, throughout the depletion edge, N edge remains the same. Whatever N edge we have derived between N plus P here, the same N edge is going to be there here. Okay, so Ns is equal to N edge exponential of psi s by Vt, and N edge we have derived in the previous page as Np naught exponential of minus Vc by Vt. So Ns is Np naught exponential of psi s minus Vc by Vt. So earlier it is Np naught exponential psi s by Vt. So in other words, when Vs is 0, it is just exponential of psi s by Vt. When you apply Vc greater than 0, Ns has decreased by an exponential factor. That is this. So the surface concentration reduces by the factor of exponential of minus Vc by Vt when voltage Vc is applied to N plus. Surface, I would say surface electron concentration when voltage Vc is applied to N plus. So that is, if all conditions, other conditions like Vg, psi ox, psi s are fixed, the inversion charge Qi decreases exponentially with explication of Vc. So because Ns has decreased exponentially, if you maintain all other conditions same, that is Vg, psi ox, psi s, then Qi has to decrease exponentially, because for the same psi s, you see that if you fix psi s and you apply Vc, Ns has come down exponentially. Okay, so definitely Qi, which is integration of this electron concentration, that also decreases exponentially, which is with this Qi indicates inversion charge. That is some integration of electron charge. So let us understand this, why it is so. Then in what way Vg can be fixed if Qi decreases? Okay, how can we have Qi decrease and yet have Vg psi ox psi s remain same? So case 1, Vc is equal to 0. So same as equilibrium that we analyzed thoroughly in previous classes. So Vg from the basic equation, Vg equal to psi ox plus psi s plus phi ms. Let us say psi ox is equal to psi ox 1, because we are the suffix 1 is to indicate values under case 1 when Vc equal to 0. So what we are saying is Vg is fixed such that the semiconductor is in inversion. So Qs1 is such that Qi1 plus Qd1. Okay, so this is psi ox 1 is this formula, negative of Qf plus Qs by Cox. Qs I denoted as Qs1 for case 1. Psi s I am writing as psi s1, and Qs1 I am writing as Qi1 plus Qd1. Okay, so sum of inversion charge plus depletion charge. Now what happens for case 2? And psi s1, you know that it is in terms of Qs, it is Qd, right? Because Qi is not going to change psi s. Okay, Qi varies very rapidly, so it doesn't contribute to potential difference. Only Qd contributes. So in terms psi s1, in terms of Qd1, we know because you know Qd1. Qd1 is minus Qna. You know that root over 2 Qna epsilon s psi s. Okay, so this this earlier we have seen. So Qd1 square by 2Qna epsilon s will be psi s. So psi s1 will be Qd1 square by 2Qna epsilon s. So this is what is psi s1. So case 2, Vc is greater than 0. All right. So when Vc is greater than 0, we have seen that Qi2, okay, inversion charge denoted by Qi2 decreases exponentially. Okay, so Vc is 0. For Vc is 0, there is Qi1. And Vc greater than 0, Qit decreases exponentially from Qi1. Implies Qi2 is much less than mod Qi1. It has come down exponentially. Okay, so if in this equation Vg you put Vg equal to psi ox 2 plus psi s2 plus phi ms. Vg I have not changed. Okay, so Vg remained same. Psi ox 2 is Qf plus Qs psi s2 is Qd square Okay. So psi s1 is qd1 square by 2q na epsilon s. So psi s2 is qd2 square by 2q na epsilon s. qd2 is the depletion charge. So here I have qs2, all right. So I will write this as, okay, here, yeah, whatever, it's okay. So here I have, I'll write the minus qf by cox, right? And then plus phi ms. I'll write this as VFB plus QS2 I'll write as QI2 by Cox. Instead of this minus of QS2, I'll write it as plus mod QI2 plus mod QD2 by Cox plus mod QD2 square by 2Q Na epsilon s plus phi ms. Compare this with the earlier case 1, what we'll write Vg equal to VFB plus mod Qi1 by Cox. Formula will not change. Qd1 by Cox plus Qd1 mod square by 2Q Na epsilon s phi ms. Okay. So if you compare both Vg same, both Vg same, Vg is fixed. So both LHS are same. Okay, both LHS are equal. Vg is fixed, both LHS are equal. So we have seen that QI2 is much less than QI1. And there is no, so which means there is this term which is much less in this case. So definitely the only VFB is fixed. Okay, so VFB is fixed. And these two term in this for the top expression, it is much smaller than this term. So which means this has to be greater than this. There is no other way that both LHS can be equal unless QD2 increases. Okay, so if QI2 mod is much less than QI1, the only way both LHS are same will be to have QD2 much greater than QD1. Okay, so QD2 much greater than QD1. The only way we can have both LHS same as QD2 much greater than QD1. Okay, so how is that possible? Okay, how QD2 increases? Okay, compared to QD1, we know that QD1 is basically a maximum depletion charge, because already in case of 1, when Vc is 0, QD1 is what we said as the depletion region extends up to XD inversion, which is the maximum depletion width, and beyond which the increase in voltage increases only inversion charge and doesn't increase depletion charge, we said. But in the second case, unless QD increases, we cannot have the same Vg. So the moment you put Vc, what is happening is, the moment you put Vc greater than 0, what is happening is, for the same Vg, if earlier there was inversion, now the depletion extends. Okay, so that's what we want to understand. So the depletion extends. The only way will be to have Okay, so the only way this will be the only way QD2 is greater than QD1 mod will be when depletion width extends upon from XD inversion 1 to XD inversion 2, case 2. Okay, will be when depletion width extends from XD inversion 1 to XD inversion 2. All right, so then what is this XD inversion 2? We have to understand that, right? What is this XD inversion 2? Okay, so for that we need to understand what is what is the psi s at which inversion occurs, because XD inversion 2 is what inversion should happen, right? So that's what we mean, will be when depletion width extends from XD inversion 1 to XD inversion 2. So XD inversion 1 is nothing but root over 2 to epsilon s. We have seen that it is 2 phi f by QNA. But here, if it extends to what? Okay, so that is what we have to see. It all depends on how much inversion is present when VC is 0. So if you want to understand this little more, let us draw what is happening here with a picture. So this is VC equal to 0. Now this is VC greater than 0. If this is the depletion at VC equal to 0, okay. Now I should show this less, because earlier this was shown for VC greater than 0. And there is inversion charge. Okay. So there is inversion charge at the surface, and there is depletion for VC equal to 0. And for VC greater than 0, the depletion width extends. Here the depletion width is small. So this is nothing but here this is XD1. XD inversion 1. Okay. So here it is XD inversion 2. And here also, let us say some QI is there. It is not like QI is 0. Just that QI has come down, but still there is QI, say. So just that QI has come down. Earlier there is large QI, So that is dropping across oxide. I mean that QI is actually having corresponding negative QI here on metal, and it is dropping across oxide voltage drop. Now, since QI has come down, the drop across oxide has come down. So drop across semiconductor has to increase, and that increase in drop can only come from increase in depletion layer thickness. Okay. So here what I'm trying to say is, when there is one certain amount of QI and then there is QD, and on the negative plate metal we'll have QS plus QD with a negative sign, and that is the drop across oxide. So if QI decreases, then the corresponding charge negative QI will be less here. So oxide drop decreases. So if oxide drop decreases, for the same drop across the cut line VG, the semiconductor drop has to increase when VC is applied. Okay, so when VC is applied, QI comes down, so drop across oxide comes down. So for the same voltage across this cut line VG, drop across semiconductor has to increase, and that increase in drop can only come from increased depletion width. But why? What is the physics behind this increased depletion width? You can think in terms of reverse bias across N plus P junction. So it's important, pay attention. So there is this N plus P junction. It is reverse biased at VC greater than 0, and the depletion width has extended from VC equal to 0. Now, since there is this inversion charge, it is as if this N plus is connected to this inversion charge also. And for example, here, so take this left side case, when VC is equal to 0, this electron concentration is there very high, and which means this N plus and this inversion layer, they are connected. They are like same material, as if both are N plus. So this is also N plus here on the surface, because it is inversion charge, very highly negative charge. So, and that to electron charge. So that is also like an N plus region. And here inversion is also N plus. So here this contact is also N plus. And so they are connected. So this N plus is as if extending here, you can say, imagine. And equilibrium depletion width is there, that is XT inversion 1. Now VC is greater than 0. So this concentration of electrons has come down, but still it is more in, it is still connected to N plus. So you can see it like you have applied a reverse bias of VC greater than 0 across this junction. So the N plus at the surface and the P. So it is like you have applied a reverse bias of VC greater than 0 across the junction. That is why the depletion region has extended. So clearly what is happening is, then what is this psi s? So that is what we want to understand, right? So we know that psi s has to increase, and it has increased by increasing the depletion width. So what is psi s now? So how do we find? So we know that for VC equal to for VC equal to 0, NS equal to PP naught. No, let us write this. NS equal to PP naught decides the onset of inversion, decides the threshold voltage. Okay. And for this, when VC equal to 0, when VC for this, when VC equal to 0, you have psi s equal to ln VT ln ns by np naught implies, and ns equal to, we said VT ln ns is pp naught by np naught. Okay, implies, so pp naught by np naught, we have seen this as what? We have identified that as pp naught by NP naught. So Ni square by, so NP naught is Ni square by Pp naught. So Pp naught square, because by Pp naught goes up. So this is nothing but 2 Vt ln Pp naught by Ni, and we call this as Fermi potential, implies psi s is equal to 2 phi f at threshold voltage. Okay. So at threshold voltage, Ns is equal to Pp naught, and we have got this for Vc equal to 0. For now, what we have to do is, for Vc greater than 0, what should be psi s? One second. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So for Vc greater than 0, what should be psi s, for which Ns will be equal to Pp naught? Okay. That is, we reach threshold. Okay. So what for Vc greater than 0, what should be psi s, for which Ns is equal to Pp naught? That is, we reach threshold voltage. So what should be psi s? So psi s equal to Vt ln Ns by N edge. Now N edge, when Vc is greater than 0, is Vt ln Ns by Np naught exponential of minus Vc by Vt. And if you see, this implies Ns means you have to put Pp naught. Okay, Ns is equal to Pp naught. So Vt ln, so Pp naught by Np naught. So this exponential goes to the numerator, and then ln of exponential, so it will be equal to plus Vc. Okay, so if you want to understand this, you will write this as exponential of Vc by Vt. So this is equal to Vt ln Pp naught by Np naught plus Vc. Okay, so implies psi s equal to 2 phi f plus Vc. So this is the drop across, increased drop, you can say, or increased drop means, yeah, it's not that delta increase. This is the drop across semiconductor at threshold voltage, at threshold of inversion, at threshold of inversion, when Vc is greater than 0. Everything is consistent. If you put Vc equal to 0 here, psi s is 2 phi f, which is what we have seen here. Psi s is 2 phi f at threshold voltage. So here at threshold voltage, 2 phi f means it will not still reach threshold voltage because electron concentration has come down. So if you put the same voltage like 2 phi f across the semiconductor, you will still not get sufficient surface concentration because surface concentration has come down by Vc. So you have to increase the drop across semiconductor so that the surface concentration increases and tries to overcome this Vc. So this is how this you can actually see. So from so now what is the threshold voltage? See, if psi s has changed, then it is not like threshold voltage remains the same. So what is the threshold voltage? What then what is the threshold voltage when Vc is greater than 0? So we have to see that. So for that, what we do, we will say this as Vt, and so for this, rename Vt in case of Vc equal to 0 as Vt naught. Okay, so that is Vt naught equal to, so this naught is naught means this naught indicates Vc is 0. So that's what we wanted to, and we want to have call it Vt when Vc is greater than 0. So Vt naught means what? Earlier we have seen it is basically the gate voltage at threshold. So psi ox plus psi s plus psi ox plus psi s plus phi ms, and that otherwise can be written as VFB plus Vt ideal, Vt not ideal rather. So Vt not ideal is what? Drop across oxide plus drop across semiconductor, that's all. Drop across oxide means only charge against the semiconductor will come. So that is QD inversion by Cox plus this is the drop across oxide, and drop across semiconductor is 2 phi f. And this implies Vt naught equal to VFB plus phi d QD inversion. We have found out what is it? Root over 2QNA epsilon s times 2 phi f. Okay, by Cox plus 2 phi f. So this is Vt naught. Okay, where VFB is known anyway, where VFB is equal to minus phi ms minus QF by Cox. Phi ms minus QF by Cox. This doesn't change. So this is what you have. So now what is Vt? For Vc greater than 0. So for that we have to see what is the threshold voltage, what is the gate voltage. So V, so that is same thing. So Vt is equal to, we have to see VFP, it will be okay, and then Qs semiconductor charge at inversion by Cox mod and drop across semiconductor. Okay, so this is the one. So Qs now is what? So this is equal to VFB. So Qs inversion is root of 2QNA epsilon s times psi s by Cox plus psi s, and we have derived psi s to be psi s at threshold should be equal to 2 phi f plus Vc. So we have derived that just now. Okay, implies Vt is equal to VFB plus square root of 2QNA epsilon s 2 phi f plus Vc by Cox plus 2 phi f plus Vc. So this is the threshold voltage. So note the difference. So the threshold voltage, what happened to the threshold voltage? So here we have 2 phi f and here it is 2 phi f. Rest all remains the same. So instead of 2 phi f and 2 phi f here and here, here and here, the only change is there you have 2 phi f plus Vc and 2 phi f plus Vc. So other than that, there is not much change in the expression of Vt, and Vc is greater than 0. So under square root 2 phi f plus Vc means it is a larger quantity. Here also it is a larger quantity. So what is happening is Vt increases when Vc is greater than 0. This is called body effect. So the increase of threshold voltage the increase of threshold voltage when you apply positive voltage to N plus contact is what is body effect. But how do you justify this word body then? Okay, so how do you justify this word body? So in earlier days, they were calling the semiconductor as body, okay, out of historical name. So you have metal, oxide, the semiconductor, and you have N plus here and here. Okay. Okay. So now, so what happened? They did this P here. So instead of putting the positive voltage here to N plus like this, instead of putting this VC, what they have put is they have put a negative voltage. Negative voltage like this, and they called it say minus whatever. So this is this positive, right? So I am connecting negative voltage to P. So battery, so this is grounded, and P substrate is actually given negative voltage. Okay. So if I put this grounded, this grounded, and if I call this VC, it is as if I supplied voltage minus VC to substrate, which is body. So the substrate is called body, and it is applied body, and what did I say? And negative voltage, that is minus VC, is applied at body. You can see it that way also. So if you apply negative bias to body, then threshold voltage increases. So that is how they named this effect as body effect. Okay. So we need not go in the same way they have connected batteries for historical reasons while doing some experiments. So we need not do this analysis in the same way. So we actually fixed this as the fixed grounded contact, grounded potential, grounded node, and other places we have changed. So that is the reason we had carried out analysis without invoking body and all that much. Just to tell why it is called body effect, we have just rearranged it, and we have put this N plus as a reference and then connected negative voltage to body. That's all. So clearly things have changed. Threshold voltage has increased. And if you see the difference in threshold voltage increase, so that is delta VT, so which is VT minus VT naught, you see that it is equal to VC plus root over 2Q Na epsilon S by Cox times root over 2 phi f plus Vc minus root over 2 phi f. Okay. So not difficult to understand. So because this VFB cancels, 2 phi f 2 phi f cancels, and VC will be left. So that is this VC, and I take this factor root over 2q Na epsilon S by Cox outside. So there will be square root of 2 phi f plus Vc for Vt, and there will be square root of 2 phi f for Vt naught. That's what I have written here. So, and this factor, where gamma equal to root over 2q Na epsilon S by Cox is called body effect coefficient. Okay. So just some name. Okay. So with this, in the next class, we will see, we will connect one more contact N plus on top. So here we have connected N plus on bottom. So we'll connect one more contact on top, N plus, another N plus, and then we apply voltage. So we will see how to derive current voltage characteristics for MOSFET. With that, we will finish MOSFET. I'll try to finish it in one lecture, just a kind of quick IV derivation I will do, and then we will wind up this MOSFET. So it will be very brief. So extensively, if you want to do, you can go through textbook, and you can always ask me for extra lecture if you wish. I'm always ready for it.